I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends, what's cooking? It is Monday afternoon. This is Kaplan and Crew, along with Grande and the Brown Man. I want to start off this segment by just saying a couple of quick things to all the great friends out there who listen and watch on the variety of platforms that we are now on. To everybody that listens on 1090, man, do we appreciate you guys. Seriously. You have helped bring this radio station back to life. And along with like Rich Eisen and Jim Rome and then this crew, I just want to thank everybody who has been a part of it, because I'm shocked that when I go to the racetrack and I see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time, that's the first thing they want to talk about is, wow, you guys got 1090 back on the air. And they seem to give us a lot of credit, which we don't necessarily deserve, maybe a little bit, but not like the most of it. So I just want to thank everybody who's out there listening on 1090. I also really want to thank everybody who's watching on Channel 4 San Diego as part of the Cox Yourview Network. I think I told you guys this last week, but I walked into a restaurant and there were these four folks sitting at this table. And the lady says to me, she goes, "Oh my God, how's Alex's dog? Is Alex's dog okay? Because I know the story about his haircut. He's got the Friar haircut." And she had like all the details of what was going on last week's show. And she's like, "I never miss a show. I watch every single night." So radio listeners, we appreciate you. Television viewers, we appreciate you as well. But if you're not into the old media of traditional radio and traditional cable TV, to all of our YouTubers out there, I guess we entertained all of you on Friday with our technical dilemma that we had from the racetrack for at least one segment. Anyway, glad that we were entertaining to you in our disaster. So thanks for sticking with us and thanks for all the feedback. And for everybody that watches on YouTube, make sure you're involved in our chat. You become a chatlin. Make sure you get involved by leaving a comment and just share it, spread the word, let everybody know that YouTube is home base. And everybody on audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Amazon Music, iHeart, wherever you're listening on any platform, wherever you're watching on any platform, man, we just appreciate you guys. We're so happy that we do this every day, and we're glad you're a big part of what we do. So all of that being said, Alex, how is your dog? Because that lady's going to ask me, and I don't have an answer.
What was it? Saturday night was really rough in the Padilla household. The medication really kicked her ass, but because she's on some steroid right now to get rid of the whatever's on top of her head.
Mm-hmm.
So I think combined we slept about 3 hours, me and her. It was a rough one, but during the day she's great. Fan. Last night we had a good night. She's all good. Took her to the park yesterday. She still looks like a friar, but she's solid. Back on the mend.
I was telling Rachel this story about how, you got this dog from TJ and you adopted
Rosarito.
Anyway, south of the border.
Yeah.
But you'd gotten this, this dog, this rescue dog from Mexico. And you're thinking to yourself, well, this rescue dog from Mexico must be like me, tough.
Right.
I had COVID 4 times, never missed a day of work. This is you. I get hurt, I get up, I wipe off the dust, I get back to it. You thought this dog was going to be tough like you because this dog came from Mexico. But as it turns out, you spent a lot of time and money on this dog.
A lot of time and money. I think we just got her too soon. We didn't leave her in the streets long enough to toughen up. We got her when she was like 3 months old. So I don't know how long she lived on the streets, but yeah, I mean, honestly, looking back, I should have known. I should have known right away. We picked her up, and the same day, I believe 3 of her other part of what are they called? Her litter, her brothers and sisters, 3 of them also got rescued that day. And they all ran off with their new owners, and they were all stoked and walking. Mine, we had to wrap her in a freaking what they think the places where they pee, the pee pads. We had to wrap her in that because she was so nervous that she would pee on us if we picked her up. We should have known right there what we were getting into, that we got the beta of the group. She whatever. She's a great dog, but she has a very high maintenance for sure.
All right, well, there you go. Just want to give everybody an update on.
Thank you, lady, whoever you are. Yeah. She's fine.
Yeah. All right, look, we got a lot we want to get to today. There's a lot of sports news and stuff we want to get to, but in addition to the sports news, a lot of things that happened in real life this past weekend, and I'd love to tell you guys some about that too. So let's just get jumping right into it. Let me start off by saying this. When we created the Pay That Man t-shirt for Joe Musgrove,
Oof.
Joe Musgrove was like undefeated and had all these statistics that said, he is the Padres ace. He is the leader of this pitching staff. I've made the case that Joe Musgrove is a community asset for the Padres because he's from here. He's real hometown people. To have a player born and raised in San Diego who grows up a Padres fan, who becomes a Padres ace and becomes a guy who's got the only no hitter in club history, et cetera, et cetera. There's so much more to Joe Musgrove than just him pitching. We created those Pay That Man t-shirts based on Manny Machado's comments, pay that man. And when we first started with the Pay That Man t-shirts, they were hot sellers because Musgrove was still hot. Truth be told, he has cooled off significantly. Now, at the same time, we thought it was funny when we put out the Trade That Man t-shirts for Eric Hosmer because this guy makes more fundamental errors and mistakes and mental goofs at first base. We were like, trade that man. And there was some heat on Facebook in particular where people like, that's no class. How dare you guys? I see you guys have reverted to this sort of humor. Well, yeah, we have actually. And we thought it was funny. But since then, really seriously, like the Pay That Man t-shirt, I don't know if we've sold one because Musgrove has not been good really since he came back from COVID. And one game, I suppose. I think there was the game, Alex, was it against the Dodgers where he had a nice performance, but he still wound up, I think he didn't even get a decision that game. Nonetheless, Musgrove has not been as good, certainly.
It was against the Giants and the Dodgers. He had 2 good games back to back.
Okay. But Musgrove hasn't been as good as he had been earlier. Yesterday, he was good against the Mets until one bad inning. And then, more disaster from the bullpen, but we'll get into the details. And Hosmer, to his credit, I just got to give him his credit where credit is due. Over the course of the weekend in New York, came up big in Friday's game and in Saturday's game. By the way, my daughters are in New York right now. They went to the game last night. They loved it. Nice seats, like up high, but behind home plate, could see the whole field. They loved it. They had a great time. Told them to be careful. I don't need them getting into some viral videos or like fight videos, But all right, so let me start off with the Padres because there's a lot of Padres news. I'll throw it to you guys. Musgrove, Hosmer, the news about Tatis coming back, the Machado thing that happened last night in the game, which I wasn't particularly clear on because I was watching on my phone. I wasn't like sitting down just paying total attention. So, gentlemen, Padres, I'll start off with this. Headline would read this: Padres take 2 out of 3 in New York. Beat Max Scherzer, by the way. Hosmer hits a home run off Scherzer. Padres taking 2 out of 3 in New York is a very, very good way to start the second half of the season. And by the way, while the Padres were beating the Mets 2 out of 3, the Dodgers continue. The Dodgers are right now, they're just unstoppable. There's just nothing anybody can do. They swept the Giants this past weekend. They're on fire. They get contributions from everybody. Alex, I saw a bunch of my LA friends kind of getting on you this weekend. And, you were talking about Trace Turner. And listen, you talk about a guy who came to a team that why would he even play, let alone contribute? Trace Turner's making an impact. So I know a lot of Padre fans don't necessarily keep up with everything the Dodgers are doing. I am. Dodgers are unstoppable, but I got to give credit where credit is due. Padres this past weekend taking 2 out of 3 against the Mets. What a way to start the second half.
You mean Trace Thompson?
Yeah, what did I say?
Yeah.
Turner.
Oh, well,
Trey Turner.
Trace Thompson.
Trace Thompson. I think like everything that you just set up for me, none of it matters right now. None of it. The only thing that matters to me right now is the trade deadline. Because what is this? This team's not going to look like this come August 2nd. It's just not. Like, there's no way that they're going to stand pat. I am a firm believer that there's no way AJ Preller is going to look at this team and be like, we're good, let's go. Like, he's going to go out there and he's got to do something. It may not be Juan Soto, but it's going to be something. So I think the Tatis coming back, he's swinging in the cage. He's going to do live BP at Petco this weekend and then rehab next week in San Antonio. And like I said a few months ago, I think he's back against the Dodgers August 5th, next Friday. I think that's top of mind. And I think number 2 is Juan Soto. I mean, everything that you read, the Padres are the top guys, or at least they're the most motivated team trying to get him. To me, that's what matters because, I mean, the division's gone. You just got to stay afloat at this point. So win 2 of 3 against the Mets. Fantastic. Beat the Tigers all 3 games this week because they're the second worst team in the American League. Yeah, you should. So to me, the Dodgers winning 8 in a row, they can win 50 in a row. It doesn't matter. Like, the division's gone. You have to stay afloat in the wild card. Beating the Mets does that for you. Hopefully beating the Tigers starting today does that for you. So the results and all the performances, it's like whatever, because this team next week's going to look different.
I have one thing and one thing only to say. A great man once said, you got to know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. Talking to you, Joe. You should have folded, bro. You should have signed the deal. What are you doing? Every time you go out there, look like that, you're losing money, bro. These are the teams. You give the ball to your, air quotes for people on the radio, ace, to help drive you through the sweep. Our biggest complaint about this roster is you don't score enough runs. They don't score enough runs. They don't score enough runs. You get 5, you should win. You get 5, you should win. So they gave him 1 at the top of the inning, then he go out and he give away the rest. So I like Joe Musgrove, but at the number people were talking about throwing out, we had people coming on the show, 20 million, 20 million, 20 million. All right, they're like a $20 million pitcher to you. That's a great team. That's a team you may have to see down the road.
I mean, did Scherzer look like a $45 million pitcher on Friday?
No, exactly. He did not.
But to me, what's encouraging,
$45 million pitcher.
What's encouraging to me, and you guys don't have to agree with this, but what really encourages me about Joe Musgrove.
Now we're using the word encouraging. Great, got it. Okay, I'm following. Just make sure I'm following.
Yeah,
okay.
Because awful Joe Musgrove is 5 innings and 3 runs.
Okay,
I'll take that. If that's your worst performance, I will take that.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead. I'm looking up something. I had something stored and the screen went away. So give me a second.
All I'm saying is yesterday he left with 3 runs. Obviously, whoever came in after him gives up another one.
Martinez.
But like, if that's your worst performance, those are your bad performances where you still go 5 innings every time you have a bad performance, I will take that.
Well,
when I like you can pull up the numbers that I made the graphic for. Like, that's as bad as he's been, and it's still not terrible. It's still giving his team a chance to be competitive.
Show us the numbers. Show us the numbers here. This is the last month of Joe Musgrove. This is what you're talking about. In the last 30 days, total overall record 0-2, ERA 4.44, 24 strikeouts, 2 quality starts, and the Padres are 1-4 in his last 6 starts. Look, guys come back to earth. Browner, you brought this up in the first half of the season. You were like, look, he's on fire right now, and his record is super impressive, but the likelihood that he stays that way is not that high. Same goes for like a guy like Tony Gonsolin with the Dodgers, right? I mean, Gonsolin ended the first half of the season undefeated, but his last start, which he didn't get a decision on, he really did not pitch particularly well. Alex brings up a good point about Max Scherzer. I mean, if Max Scherzer is giving up home runs at home against Eric Hosmer, a guy who is I mean, ESPN put up a graphic last night. It was good to see the Padres playing the Mets on national TV last night on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Been better to win though.
But ESPN put up a graphic last night about Hosmer, how he's got like more ground balls than anybody essentially in baseball. Like the guy can, and I think it was Carl Ravitch was asking whoever the analyst is, like, how come a guy of his resume can't figure out how to get his top hand under the ball rather than always over the ball? And that's a little too inside stuff. But
by the way, there are 4 All-Stars on that list, by the way. And 1 former MVP.
Well, you want to go back to that graphic because it kind of went up fast and didn't stick around. But just take a look at this for everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening. Alex, if you could, this is the highest ground ball rate this year. And this is and by the way, this is just so you know, this is the top of the 6th inning. And look at the score. It's still 0-0. So Musgrove has gotten you through 5.
This is from last night.
This is not from. Is it from yesterday?
I thought it was from last night. I could have sworn I saw this on the broadcast last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. Obviously, last night was on ESPN.
Yeah. They scored at the top of the first, and then they scored at the top of the 6th, and then it got out of hand. Christian Yelich, former MVP. Aviel Garcia, All-Star. Tim Anderson, All-Star. And I don't know those other 2 dudes. So, I mean, that's a good list to be on. Too bad it sucks.
Highest ground ball rate in baseball. Hosmer highest at 57%, but he had a huge weekend. So
Christian Yelich having a career low season, so that's not really a great thing to be on.
True.
He's been doing pretty bad.
MVP.
Obviously, Aviel Garcia is hitting 229. That's not a good thing. I don't know how Tim Anderson is doing, but I saw that list and I was like, okay, how else is everybody else doing?
Right. Doesn't sound like anybody's doing well. Browner goes, there are some former MVPs, who aren't having good seasons apparently.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, look,
interesting though. And here's the thing about with Musgrove, and I agree with Browner on this. He needs to sign it, or move on, because it's on his mind. He's being asked about it everywhere. Everywhere he goes, every beat reporter has an article about Joe Musgrove and the contract.
Yes,
Dennis, he's being very honest about it. It needs to be the right deal. It needs to do this. I haven't had the chance to really look at the details. I will after I pitch. Blah blah blah. It's on his mind. He looks tired. He looks distracted. And it's not the whole game, but I mean, yesterday in the sixth inning, it looked like he ran out of gas, even though he was on a lower pitch count, and he threw one bad pitch, one terrible pitch to one of the game's best hitters. It happens. He's not getting wrecked by no names. It's Justin Turner. It's Pete Alonso. It's guys that hit bombs. He throws one bad pitch, and now the inning looks terrible.
Or
because they kept talking about, if you watch the broadcast, they kept talking about the Mets are not hitting the ball hard against them. They literally, the exit velo is nothing. Nobody's being able to hit him until that inning.
Until Pete Alonso hit a 3-run bomb.
What's my glasses? Exit velo. What's where? Oh, I had glasses.
Oh, wait, your nerd glasses?
Yeah, exit velo. I mean,
just listen to the broadcast, dude.
Oh, hey.
Exit velo. Look at me.
Hold on.
Hey, nerd.
Exit velo.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Let me just have 1 minute here to just
exit velocity.
Exit velo. What's that? Hey, 1 quick second here. Let me talk to you guys. I want to just make a quick mention of our friends at Mazda of Escondido, MazdaofEscondido.com. I'm mentioning these guys because right now, Alan, the general manager, is looking for your used cars. He needs them. And used cars are worth more today than they've ever been worth, which, is not news to everybody. You've been hearing about this. Normally, you drive off a lot, your car starts to depreciate for whatever. Well, the reason is because of supply chain issues from around the world. And so these auto dealerships don't have as much in stock as they normally do. So now they're looking for used cars. And so if you've got a used car and you would like to find out, well, what's it worth? Take it to Mazda of Escondido, see Alan, the general manager. His team will look at it. They'll either tell you, we want it, we'll make you an offer, here's what we're offering you, or hey, thanks, but no thanks. But you then make a decision. Hey, Alan's offering me this. I owe 20 grand on the car. Alan's offering me 25. I walk out with 5 grand in profit. Do I want to do that deal? Do it and walk out with your money, or don't. But Alan at Mazda of Escondido, he needs your used cars. So go see him. MazdaofEscondido.com. They're on the Escondido Auto Park. When I go there, I've got an In-N-Out over here and I've got a Chick-fil-A over here, and it's a major dilemma for somebody like me. Mazda of Escondido, MazdaofEscondido.com. Okay. So were you guys watching this game last night? Because it was on ESPN. Yep. I mean, I really wanted to see, I was happy for the Padres, to be on national television, to have already won the series. I thought it was great. What's the dude's name from the Mets who's like the big heavy set bro? What is that guy's name? Number 30.
Vogelbach.
What is it?
Daniel Vogelbach. They just traded for him. It was his first game on Saturday, I believe.
Where did they get him from?
I want to say he came from Pittsburgh.
I think you're right. Is he a first baseman?
I don't know.
I don't either. I mean, I really don't know his career.
I'm going to assume he's a DH.
Yeah.
Dude, he probably is a first baseman.
I don't know this guy's career at all. I just know this. I'm not suggesting that that Major League Baseball players need to be lean and mean like basketball players or, like wide receivers. My man is big and thick, and he was going viral last night because he was running the bases, and for a big boy, he looked pretty damn good. He looked all right. Take a look at big man here. Look at my man round third. That is a big old boy to be running the bases like that.
That is, listen, everybody on the internet always raves about Trey Turner's slides. That is graceful right there. That is grace.
I'll tell you one thing.
Peak athleticism.
If he coming down the line and the game's on the line, the Mets won. I'm not standing in the way of that. Nope. I'm good. Slide on in here, big fella. Y'all win.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah. He is a big dude. Now, a couple other things from last night's game against the Mets, as we, they're going to play against Detroit here, top of the hour. What happened with Manny? He looked like he got hit by a pitch, but I feel like the umpires called it foul. And I'm only saying this because I was watching on my phone and it was kind of on the background. Oh, they did. They called it a strike.
Because he swung.
Because it was a strike.
Because he did swing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But did he get hit? But did he get hit?
He got hit.
Oh,
yes, but
I couldn't figure it out.
He swung the bat before he got hit.
Okay, let's see what happens here. Oh, oh,
he
yeah.
was hot, too.
Oh, yeah. Look at him. We're watching. And for those of you that are listening, yeah, Manny was kind of going at it with the first base umpire.
Angel.
Yeah, clearly the bat
Yes.
kept going forward.
I kind of thought the ball hit the bat, and I thought he was like acting like he got hit.
No, that was my favorite part though, because it's Angel Hernandez who, like, if you
terrible.
know an umpire's name, that's a
Yeah,
bad thing.
yeah.
Everybody knows Angel Hernandez, so he's like Angel. But I think Padre fans were up in arms because this exact scenario happened with Pete Alonso in San Diego, and they called it a hit by pitch.
Oh,
Because
now
he actually swung the whole way through, and they called that a hit by pitch.
yeah. Okay, we're watching that video from here in San Diego. Okay, Pete Alonso, he's a big, strong guy. He could do damage. That guy, he could put people in the
He could
hospital.
put people in the hospital
Big time. It's true.
I mean, he did put that baseball in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good series for the Padres to win 2 out of 3, to do damage against Scherzer, but it was a bad way to end it on national TV last night. Even though the Padres tried to make it interesting at the end.
Real quick, what I liked: Bob Melvin pulling Blake Snell after 5. Let's not push it, okay?
Yeah.
Let's not push it. He gives you 5, you cash out.
See, but the thing is, he could have pulled Musgrove after 5, but with Musgrove, you're like, no, he's got 2 more in him.
Well, the pitch count was like 70.
Yes.
So right.
Yeah.
I know. All right, stick around, everybody. Listen, we got a lot to get to. We'll get into Tatis and when he's going to come back. Also, there's a lot of talk about the Angels possibly contemplating a trade for Ohtani or to trade Ohtani. We'll get to that coming up. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. This is Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Rome comes home. Yes, I said it. You can now catch the Jim Rome Show Monday through Friday, noon until 3 p.m. on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. Back to San Diego, where it all started, on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Please welcome in tax attorney Adam Brewer. Adam, thanks so much for joining us again on Main Street Living.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be back.
So, of course, we have more tax questions for you. First of all, what are the types of business entities that business owners can use?
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd ask this question. So this time of year, this is when, business owners probably just got handed a pretty big tax bill. And so naturally, the next question is, how can they save taxes? How can they save on taxes? And so that's where these business entities really, they may come in. So yeah, what we're looking at is corporations or limited liability companies, more commonly called LLCs. So definitely by using either a corporation or an LLC, business owners may be able to really save on taxes. For the most part, when we talk about tax savings, we're looking at like an S Corp election. And so again, an LLC can do that, a corporation can do that. But the net result is you want to save on what's called self-employment tax. So for 2022, a business owner is going to, by default, pay self-employment tax on the first $147,000 of taxable income. So that's 15.3%. By doing an S Corp election, putting yourself on payroll, you can really drive down how much of your income you have to pay that 15.3% at. Beyond the tax savings, it just offers an extra level of protection between the business owner's personal assets, say their home, and their business operation. So, no matter what business you operate, you're going to have some exposure to liability. So an entity like a corporation, like an LLC, it just puts that extra level of protection between the business and then what the owner has on their personal side.
Yeah, well, clearly a plethora of information that you always provide to us, Adam. We appreciate you being on the show. Where can our viewers get in touch with you for more tax help?
Yeah, like always, they can visit my website, triumphovertax.com, or feel free to pick up the phone. You can always give me a call, 619-591-9500.
Welcome back. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
All right, great friends. Hey, it is Monday afternoon. Today is remarkably July 25th. I can't believe how fast this year and this month and this summer all seems to be flying by. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. Fellas, we had been talking about the Padres and the Mets last night. Padres play the Detroit Tigers today. It's an early game, so it's happening about this time. So I think the big story, though, Alex, you mentioned this earlier. You know, you can talk all you want about what happened this weekend, and taking 2 out of 3 from the Mets is good, even though on national TV last night they wind up losing this game. The two big storylines, though, are will the Padres really seriously get into this Juan Soto thing? I mean, every report I read, like it suggests that the Padres are real players. And I guess, listen, you think about last year, they were real players for Scherzer until they had the rug pulled out from underneath them. What is this this article right here, Alex, that you've just put up on the screen? Is this from
Ken Rosenthal, The Athletic,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
saying in his article, one executive in assessing the Soto sweepstakes said, quote, "I think San Diego is as likely as the other 28 teams combined. They have the players and they have Preller." But it did go on and say Preller is not afraid to make moves. Obviously, he built the entire rotation on trading, but what he's lacked is he lacks the acumen of building a proper roster.
They also said in that article that even though the Padres may be the most willing, they may not have the most to offer.
Well, I mean, because the farm system, I think we're talking about the same article here. I think the farm system that the Padres at one time had, which was ranked like number 1 in baseball, the Padres farm system now, because of what you're talking about, Alex, building the pitching rotation through trades, the farm system that the Padres have is not considered like top 5, like it once was, right? So it's kind of middle of the pack now. They've gotten rid of a lot of younger assets to create this pitching staff that they have, that they all, everything is a trade, right? I mean, other than Mackenzie Gore, everything they've got, Darvish, Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, Manaea. I mean, all these guys are all via trade in some way, versus one homegrown guy, which is Mackenzie Gore. That's kind of it right now, right? So some of the stuff that they've had in years past to make trades, they don't have anymore. So the farm system is not as highly ranked as it once was. But this notion that the Padres are as involved in the Soto trade as all 28 other teams combined, that's I guess kind of surprising and somewhat encouraging. I think
if
you're
the
a Padres
Padres
fan, I mean you want Juan Soto.
The Padres have said publicly that they're in their window to win now. I think that the Padres know, and if you watch this team, that the outfield is pretty much a disaster. And Juan Soto is a MVP finalist and young and controllable for multiple years. And I think that people are like, oh, I don't want to trade Robert Hassel because I think Robert Hassel could turn into. You hope that Robert Hassel turns into Juan Soto.
Right.
I mean, the problem is, are you willing to also throw in CJ Abrams? Are you also willing to throw in Mackenzie Gore?
Yes.
Are you also willing to throw in, I don't know, whatever else they want?
Because
the Nationals don't have to trade him.
The question for me is, where does this stop? Where does this like? How much do they want? And in the window in which we have again Manny Machado locked up, in the window in which we have Fernando Tatis that we feel like he's going to come back healthy, and then in this window where we have Juan Soto, where we really don't have to sign him, can we win in this window and get some of this money rolling to us before we have to actually pay Juan Soto this contract that's going to be coming up in a couple of years? So if I'm the Padres, I'm looking at this. I love CJ Abrams. You guys know how I feel about CJ Abrams. You guys know I like Mackenzie Gore. But to give away minor league products, hoping they'll become something, you're literally trying to get a actual thing for it could be. I'm good on the could be's. Give me the actual thing. We don't know what CJ Abrams is going to turn into. We don't know what Mackenzie Gore will be at the end of the day. He shows a lot of promise, but you have these guys sometimes to get guys who are proven like Juan Soto. So depending on how deep down the rabbit hole you have to go, will they take Eric Hosmer's contract? In the article, they said something about them having a contract that sucks that they want to try to offload with that too. And we definitely don't want to do that. So it's going to take some ironing out. And if we are the team that he lands on, it would have been a lot of work.
Yeah. See, when you see when you have a quote from an article like the one you put up on the screen, that what the Padres have are the assets and they've got Preller. I guess maybe Preller is super well respected around baseball as a deal maker, but I don't look at Preller as whoa, hey, they got a guy that's going to outsmart everybody. They got a guy that's going to be able to pull the trigger on all of this. What I look at it as, hey, Preller is desperate because Preller has had, and I don't know how many years he's been with the Padres now, but I'm going to take a guess here. It's 6, 7-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. And
like 8
actually,
already?
wait a second. Today's 2022. Let's go back to 2015. Yeah, I mean, we might be talking about 7, 8.
2014.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a long time.
Mhm.
You know, to be a general manager of a franchise that when he got to the Padres, they were a team that was known for not spending money. And now the Padres have a payroll that is right there behind the Yankees and the Dodgers. So if you're AJ Preller and you've been on the job since 2014 and all the organization has done is present you to the public as in the smartest deal maker, the smartest baseball guy, the hardest worker, et cetera, well, you've had all these years and you have one playoff appearance. And the playoff appearance just so happens to be the year that the Dodgers win the World Series, when most Padre fans look at that World Series and they go, asterisk, that's not real, 60-game season. Well, then why are the Padres for real the year that they went to the playoffs? So all I'm saying is that you tried it one way, which was the Matt Kemp, Justin Upton, James Shields, go out and spend a ton of money right away, kind of, and that didn't work. So then they gave AJ Preller, 2.0, where he's going to develop all of his young guys. And he obviously made the deal for Tatis and Shields. And then they make the playoffs and there's real belief. And now here we are 2 seasons removed. And the Padres, even though the Dodgers have completely run away with the division, or it looks like they're going to, the Padres are a playoff contender. They start last night or this weekend, 2 out of 3 against the Mets. They don't have Tatis. And if they don't make it to the postseason this year, I don't know for sure that Preller's getting fired, but
I would think so.
It seems like all the pressure is on Preller. So when Rosenthal reports that what the Padres have are assets in Preller, does he mean that Preller's such a brilliant deal maker, or does he mean that Preller is so desperate that he'll do whatever it takes because he don't want to lose his gig?
I think he's the GM that's proven to be willing to trade prospects for players. I think that Preller has proven over and over and over that he's not afraid to make moves. I mean, he's made moves. Have they worked, all of them? No. Have some of them worked? Yes. Let's not forget Adam Frazier last year. So I just think that's all. But I mean, the line was this. He says at some point they will need to incorporate some of their young players to help balance their payroll. And Preller, for all his trade wizardry, has not proven adept at roster construction, which I 100% agree with.
Yeah.
This team is top heavy. I mean, when you look at this roster, it is top heavy. There's not a lot of depth here. And I think that's what, when teams look at Preller, I'm not saying they could take advantage of him by any means. What I'm saying is there's willingness. And willingness is big when trying to make a trade.
You say top heavy. It is, again, interesting. You look at the Dodgers just as an example, and the Dodgers take 4 straight games this past weekend from San Francisco, and you look at where these contributions come from. I mean, you expect Mookie Betts and you expect Trey Turner and you expect Freddie Freeman to all come up big. But when you've got a guy like Trace Thompson who's making plays and who's a contributor, when this guy couldn't do anything with the Padres, didn't do anything with the Detroit Tigers, has been a career minor leaguer, and yet he comes up and he's in this environment of winning, and we don't need you to do anything special. Just be a contributor. We've got guys who are stars, and it's literally from top to bottom with the Dodgers. Whereas the Padres, to your point, I like the phrase you're using, top heavy. You got Machado, you've got Cronenworth, Hosmer to his credit this past weekend. But otherwise, I mean, this is why they're desperate, absolutely desperate for more offense.
Padres are 13-2 when Manny Machado hits a home run. Like, that's how top heavy they like. It doesn't take much for them. Like, they just need some contribution. They need some offensive contribution, and Machado's been that piece forever. So yeah, you're right. When the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman's hitting like 425 in the month of July. But it's not just Trace Thompson. They got their guys performing at a level that they're supposed to be performing at.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. There's
Well, that's roster construction.
There's underachievement happening with the Padres.
Yeah, but
That's
roster construction is, hey, we got Mookie Betts. Now we went out and got Freddie Freeman. We got Trey Turner in this trade. We've now picked up a much cheaper asset that who knows if the guy can play, but it's worth the risk. And now all of a sudden the guy's contributing. You know, Gavin Lux is making plays and you know, hitting. And I mean, just literally like top to bottom, the
Right.
Dodgers, you know, every guy performs, or so it seems.
when
you
in
know?
here, they're not. You're
Well-
having career worst seasons happening here.
For whom?
Grisham,
Mm-hmm.
Hosmer,
Mm-hmm.
Nola. You know, Tatis ain't played yet.
Right.
Will
Well-
Myers been hurt most of the season. Will Myers, by the way, playing at first base in El Paso in his rehab. Because
Shocker.
Nomar Mazara is come in here and he's like, I'm the right fielder.
Listen, man, I think that they're planning on getting rid of Eric Hosmer at the trade deadline, and I think that this is going to be one of those trades where they just go, "We'll take whatever you got, man. We'll pay you some of the salary. Just take them. Just take them." I mean, yeah, he played great in New York, but as an overall,
Well, that helps. No, that helps. That's good.
right. Oh, as an overall, like you can tell people, see, he can get hot for you. He can get hot for you. But just don't show him no defensive highlights.
Or the daily double play he hits into.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or-
I was thinking about
or
starting
the 57%, you know, ground balls that he hits.
I was thinking about
routine.
starting 2 Twitter accounts. One called "Did Voit strike out today?" And you just like every time
Yes
he
or
does,
no?
you'd be like, "Yes," every day. And then the other one would be like, "Did Hosmer ground to second base?" Or, you know, like I would shorten it somehow because every day I would just have to go on Twitter and tweet from those accounts. Yes. Yes.
All right, now let us get into the Tatis part of all of this.
The exciting
will-
part, right, Browner? Woo.
Right. So here we go. Let me have
all you
1
got
minute
for me?
though.
Woo.
Well, hey, at least he's getting excited now, Browner. You know, after the first half of the season when there was no excitement allowed around here other than by one of us, that's you. But before we do that, I just want to give everybody a quick mention of our man, Gary Cooper, Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty Services. 858-376-1299 is his phone number, 858-376-1299. Here's the thing, and I've been talking about this for at least the last week. In my neighborhood where I live, I'm seeing a lot of for sale signs and I'm seeing a lot of for rent signs. And what's surprising is the length of time that I'm seeing these signs up. There's a guy down the road who's got a place for rent, and it's probably been a month and a half that this place hasn't been rented. And there's a small little beach community, Cardiff, where a lot of people would like to go. And these apartments or condos or even rental houses, boom, they were snapped up immediately. You couldn't find a place. Seriously, like people were struggling to find housing. For sale signs on houses that would normally say like coming soon. And before they even, you know, take the coming soon off, these things are sold. They're snapped up. Obviously, the world has changed. You know, the war in Ukraine and, you know, everything that's going on with supply chain related issues, still the aftermath of COVID, which is not really the aftermath. We're still in the middle of all of this because it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. All of these conditions have created change. And I'm no expert here in, you know, interest rates or what the Fed is going to do with raising interest rates. But because rates have gone up, fewer and fewer people can afford these kinds of places. So now all of a sudden, these expensive houses that if you would have sold them a year ago, you'd have made top dollar. Now they're sitting on the market and they're waiting. So I feel like the buyer is in more control. The only issue is that when you buy, even if the price has come down to you, the rate has gone up to you. So what I'm suggesting is this. There is a change in the housing market and you need an expert at your disposal. That's Gary Cooper. 858-376-1299, 858-376-1299. You want to just get on the phone with Gary, talk to him about it. Hey, Gary, I'm thinking about this. I'm contemplating that. What should I do? What do you suggest? Talk to him. Gary Cooper, 858-376-1299, Mountain Trust Mortgage and Mountain Trust Realty. All right, guys, the Tatis now timeline. You know, Alex, you said earlier in the show that, you know, you said all along he would be back for the next Dodger series at the beginning of August. I want to say, did you say it was August 5th, which is a Friday?
Mm-hmm.
And then last week, or maybe it was just a little bit further back, there was that time where you were like, you know, I've always been when, but now I'm on the verge of if. Like there was a time where maybe we were thinking, is he really going to come back? So the timeline has now been set, though. Tatis is going to start swinging. He's going to go through a rehab assignment. And if your projection is right, by Friday, August 5th, when the Padres play the Dodgers, which is, 10 days from now, maybe 11 days from now, we may see Fernando Tatis back in a Padre uniform. I mean, at least that's my guess.
That's the goal. That's the plan.
All right, here's what Tatis had to say. Go for it.
I feel like I've put my A swing out there. I haven't been afraid of it. The things I've done so far, I feel like I've put from 95 to 100% on my swing. And so far, it's feeling pretty good. So hopefully it stays that way.
Mm-hmm.
That also doesn't give me much confidence about my prediction, because it's like, what do you mean? I thought you were good. What do you mean you're not kind of surprised that it's all good because you're going 100? I thought we were taking this slow. I thought there wasn't supposed to be any setbacks. I just kind of was going to be yeah, ready to go. Rehab, boom, boom, boom. Which is kind of what he said today in AC's thing. He's like, I guess he took BP today. He will take BP when they come back to Petco, and then next week he will go to San Antonio for a rehab assignment. So we're getting close. Unless there's a setback, we're getting close.
But just doing the timeline again, if this week they're in Detroit, and I only know this that the Padres are in Detroit. Why are they there? Do you guys realize that Wednesday night at Petco Park there's a monster concert? You guys know about this?
The Chili Peppers.
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers on Wednesday night, and it's one of those things
What's that
where
grass going to look like on Friday?
See, I don't know about you.
You remember the Rolling Stones?
Oh yeah, dude. Remember what they did to the outfield?
Yeah.
I don't love stadium concerts.
They're not good. I mean, it's gonna be in my
it's
opinion.
Too big.
They're not big. They're not good. I saw Beyonce at Qualcomm. It was rough.
It was
rough.
Not only was it, I saw Beyonce at Qualcomm also, and I don't even know really why I went, other than I think a friend of mine wanted to go, so I went with her. This is how long ago is this? Well, this is years ago because Qualcomm was standing still,
and there was no COVID.
There was the acoustics. I didn't think were very good.
May 13th, 2016.
There you go. I just didn't think it was very good. I don't love stadium shows. Some people love to go to every big concert. They want to be there. Hey, there's going to be 40,000 people at Petco Park. The Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing. I think the Strokes may be opening. Actually, I'd have to really go look at it. But somebody invited me to go, and I'm like, I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Belly Up in front of 300 people.
Don't even go
Gosh,
to Petco.
God, it was amazing.
Don't even go to Petco. Have you seen that, dude? You're not gonna like it.
I know, and I think that same year that I saw the Chili Peppers at the Belly Up, I think that same year they played. I gotta check myself on this, but I think they played the Super Bowl in San Francisco, also in front of a small crowd. And I'm like, do I really want to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers in front of 40,000 people at Petco Park? I'm trying to remember the last. Maybe it was the Rolling Stones last concert I went to at Petco.
That's the only one I've ever been there.
No, maybe Billy Joel. Maybe Billy Joel was one that I went to also.
Chili Peppers with guest opening acts Haim, who I like.
I don't know who that is.
It's three sisters. They're a band. They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
And LA bassist Thundercat, who has some good songs too.
No, not the Strokes. So the Strokes are not playing with them.
Not here.
Yeah, somebody told me that they were. Listen, I didn't look it up. I just went with somebody's word. So yeah, Padres are out of town this week. So are you saying that the report is that Tatis won't start swinging?
He says, this is according to AC, because Tatis said couple lives and then head out to San Antonio for rehab. AC goes, those live sessions facing pitchers on the field are not expected to take place until the team returns to San Diego following its upcoming 3-game series in Detroit. That means Tatis probably won't begin his rehab assignment until early next week. Tatis could make his season debut when the Padres are in LA to face the Dodgers August 5th and 7th. Tatis expects to hit on the field and in the batting cage in Detroit this week.
Did you say 5th and 7th?
5th through 7th.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was a game and then a day off and then a game. It seemed weird to me. Yeah, let's see. Today's July 25th. So Monday of next week is August 1st. Let's say he gets 2 or 3 games at a rehab assignment, the 2nd and 3rd-ish, and then he comes back and they're playing against the Dodgers on the 5th, 6th, and 7th. I mean, you're really, really throwing him right into the fire, but I mean, you need to.
Yeah.
It really doesn't
matter. If he's ready, he's ready. It doesn't matter who they're playing. Right. If he's ready, he's ready.
Exactly. If he is ready, then he is ready. Could be against the Detroit Tigers in Detroit. It could be against the Dodgers in LA. It doesn't really matter.
It kind of it did go from, right before the All-Star break, we're just like, oh, what's going to happen? The news isn't all that positive to, this All-Star break goes by and now it's like, I think it's going to come quick to us.
Yeah.
I really do think it's going to come very quickly here, and he'll be here for the last 2 months of the season.
Well, early August, but just real quick before we hit this break, you talk about running away with things. Look at the Dodgers here in the month of July. So far this month, the Dodgers are 17-2. They've scored 108 runs. They've hit 29 home runs. Their ERA as a team is under 3. Their runs allowed are 58, so they've scored 50 more than they've allowed, and they've extended their lead in the division from at 2.5 games, which is where they were, to now the Dodgers have an 11.5 game lead on the Padres. The Giants are no longer factors.
Dodgers have won 8 in a row, 15 of their past 16, 19 of their 21, and 24 of their last 29.
Unbelievable. I mean, they're just on fire. So getting Tatis back against the Dodgers would be quite incredible. All right, stick around, everybody. I'm going to go from all this baseball talk. I'm going right into some football talk. We're in the 7 Mile Casino studios, 7milecasino.com. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
The Rich Eisen Show airs Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. An engaging blend of insightful football expertise with an offbeat mix of humor and pop culture while continuing to attract the most recognizable names in sports and entertainment. Only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Please welcome 4 of the 5 San Diego County Teachers of the Year from the 2021-2022 school year. From Central Elementary School, Laura Reyes. From Westville High School, Tiffany Jokers. From San Jose Elementary School, Jacqueline Jordan. And from St. Joe Southwest Middle School, Todd Sanders. Teachers, please deliver the pitch. San Diego County Teachers of the Year with their honorary pitch.
I thought I was okay. I had a degree, I had work experience. I should be able to provide for my kids. But they're just things that you don't plan on in life.
My husband got laid off and we are a family of 5.
My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I would ask the doctors, what can I do? And they would just say, just make sure she's eating. Our lives just changed completely. Thank God that we always had a plate of food.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Listen to The Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and themightier1090.com.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your San Diego Padres baseball updates. The Padres were looking for a sweep on Sunday against the Mets, but New York was able to rally late against Joe Musgrove to get the win 8-5. Musgrove pitched 4 strong innings and was able to get out of some trouble in the 5th, but in the 6th inning he gave up a 3-run home run to Pete Alonso, and from there the game got away from the Friars. Taking a look at injuries, the Padres are optimistic Will Myers could make his return to the big league club this week. Myers began his rehab stint 2 weeks ago after battling right knee inflammation for some time. Fernando Tatis Jr. is advancing cautiously in his progression with his return from his left wrist surgery. Tatis is taking things week to week on his return. San Diego takes on the Detroit Tigers early this week for a 3-game set in the Midwest. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by YourView. You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and YourView, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
What's going on to all the great friends that watch the show on television here on Cox YourView? What you're about to see will never be heard on radio, won't be seen on YouTube, no audio podcast. This is just for you here on Cox YourView. Hey to all the great friends out there that watch on Cox YourView. You might be in San Diego, Orange County, LA, Santa Barbara. We're happy to have everybody here. What we love to do in this time is it's a Cox exclusive. This is stuff you're only going to see here on Cox. Not going to hear this on radio on 1090, not going to see it on our YouTube channel, not going to hear it on any of the audio podcast platforms. This is just for you guys that watch on Cox YourView. A really big show coming to the Scottish Rites Event Center in Mission Valley in San Diego. If you love trading sports memorabilia or buying or selling, this is going to be the place for you. It's coming up on August 6th and 7th. And here's the guy running the entire operation. Here's Joe Oliveri, known to his friends as Joe O from SD Collectibles, who's running this show. Hey, Joe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Scott. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Let's talk about this. Tell us about why people need to know about your show, SD Collectibles, on August 6th and 7th.
Well, we have a great show coming up August 6th and 7th at the Scottish Rite Event Center, like you had mentioned, right there in Mission Valley. We have over 130 tables that'll be at this show. We also have Paul Lowe signing autographs on Saturday. We have Steve Garvey and Raleigh Fingers, which will be there on Sunday doing in-person autographs. We just have a really great collection of some of the biggest and best of the community, the card collecting community, coming out there August 6th and 7th, showing their cards, showing their collectibles. There'll be a lot of memorabilia out there. And really what we look at it as is something for every collector.
Yeah, when you say every collector, is it, from what I understand and looking at the website, sdcollectibles.com, it's not just purely sports cards. Is that right?
That's correct, Scott. We have sports cards, memorabilia, autographed items, quite a few unique autographed items and memorabilia. But we also have Pokemon, a large selection of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering. There'll be vendors there that have comic books. As I mentioned, there's several autograph signers that will be there. We also have JSA, which will be on site for both Saturday and Sunday, doing in-person authentication, same-day services.
Well, that's awesome, because for me, the one thing I know I'm most interested in, and I know a lot of people who are watching right now have the same thing. If you've got a piece of sports memorabilia that you are willing to part with, but you don't have authentication, like I have this Marshall Faulk football, the year that he broke the record where he was over 1,000 yards rushing and receiving for the Rams in 2000. I've also got this basketball sitting right here that is signed by every Los Angeles Laker of the 2002 World Championship team. So Shaq, Kobe, Phil Jackson. I don't really honestly know if they're authentic. I think they are. It's just I don't have the paperwork. So I can bring this stuff to your show and get it authenticated on site. Is that right?
That's correct. You can bring your autographed items, whether it's memorabilia such as those basketballs, footballs, baseballs, bats, cards, photos. You can bring them right to the show Saturday or Sunday. Stop by the JSA booth. Chris would be happy to help you there. He'll be on site with his team, and they can authenticate different items that you have that have autographs so that you can find out, one, if it's real, and two, it just gives it that much more value when it is authenticated.
What if I get it authenticated and I want to sell it? Is there a way for a private person like myself? I say private, I mean, like, I'm not in the business. Can I sell this stuff?
Yeah, you sure can. There's a couple different ways to do that. I mean, obviously, there's some online ways to do that take a lot of time and a whole different set of really procedures. But one of the great things that you can do, we have tables available and we have options for everyone. We do have some vendor tables available, 6, 8, and 12-foot tables. You can bring your items down there to sell. You can bring your cards, your memorabilia, and so on. If you have some memorabilia items like you're showing there, Scott, you can get them authenticated right at JSA, bring them over to your table, and you can put them out there for all of the attendees to see and see if you can make a deal on selling it or possibly trading it for something that you have a little more interest in.
All right. Well, while you're talking, I know Alex is putting up on the screen for everybody the website. It's sdcollectibles.com, sdcollectibles.com. Information about where, when, who's going to be there signing autographs, how you can get authenticated, how you can buy a table and space if you want to sell your own collection. Joe, this is going to be a fun show. This is going to be really cool. Give us any final thoughts, things you need people to know before you roll.
Well, one of the great things is it's a family-friendly event. When you come to our shows, you'll see a lot of people, both the parents and the kids, showing them around because there's something for everyone. There's bargain boxes of cards that are anywhere from 50 cents to $1 up. And then if you're one of those bigger collectors that likes to find those unique cards, maybe those graded cards, those Gem Mint 10, there's going to be thousands and thousands of those on display, as well as what's called the trading card game, the TCG, with Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and so on, comic books, as I mentioned, autographed memorabilia and such. If I could give a special thank you to some of those in our community that have helped support our event. Stacked Packs, big supporter and sponsor of our event. Poke Familia, J-Lo Collectibles, SD Sportsmen, and OC Dugout. Those folks really helped support our event, and they'll be at the show. So if you have an opportunity to come out and attend, come by and say hello to those folks that have vendor tables set up.
Joe, it sounds like it's going to be a great event on August 6th and 7th. The website is SD Collectibles, and we'll see you down there. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
The NFL lives here. If it's about the NFL, you found the right station. Join 1090 every Sunday during the NFL season for the exclusive SoCal home of not one, but 2 NFL games every Sunday during the season on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Home of Guiding Hands helps San Diego community in that we're a resource for families. A lot of times when families first identify that their child, their loved one, might have an intellectual or developmental disabilities, they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. And we're here to help guide people through that process, to show them what a thriving life their loved one can have. It's a passion I share, having a daughter with a disability.
I really love the place that I live at. Because of Home of Guiding Hands, I was able to move out of my parents' house and into a beautiful home that I love living in. And so if you have an independent living service coordinator, they will help you learn more about being independent, and they help guide you through different things. They've helped me with lots of encouragement and love. They've also given me an ILS worker who is an amazing person, and I love her so much. She's great. I could tell you the first, I think, week or so, I wasn't feeling very confident in myself. The first couple of nights I was like, oh, this is scary. But I look back on it now and I'm like, this is so easy.
Main Street Living celebrates diverse abilities in partnership with Home of Guiding Hands, supporting the special needs community for over 55 years.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
We're hitting the gym, but this place doesn't have stationary bikes or treadmill.
But the workout is killer.
Yeah, see if we have what it takes to make it to the top. Today on
Su
Vida.
Vida.